Yeah.
Column there. Okay, you see a run over the ridge, let us know. We got decent black on this side, but got one green stringer. It's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, it's not slowing down.
This is now threatening close to 5,000 homes and businesses, and it's just one of 88 large fires scorching the nation right now.
I was fighting the Carr Fire. I lost my home in the Carr Fire. I wasn't fighting the fire just to save my home. The canyon that we live in, all the houses are somewhat in order, so I was following the fire progression, and when it got to my property, I had the chance to defend my own property. I was more comfortable because I know the area, I know the terrain, I know everything about my property, and at the same time, it made it easier for me to kind of relax and let go of it. The way I saw it was I don't want any fellow firefighters hurting themselves just to save my property. I don't think that I fought any harder or any less hard for my property. There's always a feeling of being overwhelmed. For me, fighting the fires was my way out of being overwhelmed. I had something to focus my energy on, and like I said, helping people is my passion, and I want to do whatever I can to help other people. So that helped me overcome the feelings of loss. The devastation that I see as a firefighter, it definitely takes a toll. It is what I choose to do. I enjoy helping people, and that helps overcome the negative side of it. The way I see it is if I don't help, who is going to help? And then it goes a little ways up back the mountain here. Emotionally, losing my house was initially very easy for me because I was fighting the fire, and although I knew everything was gone, I knew everything was gone. I wasn't, stuck in limbo trying to figure out, do I still have a home? Do I still have a place to go? I knew that I had places to go, and I had known that the house was already gone.
I think my first thought was it's shock. It's definitely shock. I think it was really strange. You get that feeling like you've been kicked in the stomach, that gut feeling. But I didn't cry right away, and it was more, like I said, more shock. First is, okay, he's still safe, my firefighter son. I've got my daughter, my son-in-law, my husband, all my grandkids. Most of our dogs, not all made it. Had them all with us. So I took stock real quick. Okay, everybody's alive. Okay, the house burned. Okay, we'll have to start again. But you don't really realize what that means. In the motel, the first several weeks was day to day. How do I get food to everybody? Because I'm the main cook for all of us, the rest of the family works. How do we exist? I don't think my mind, at least mine in the beginning, didn't even go to the point of how are we going to rebuild? It was, how am I going to live right now? Well, mainly it's difficult to find a home to rent big enough because the market's so saturated, you know, and everybody's taking up every single little thing they can find as far as rentals. But for such a big family, multi-generation family, and so many animals, there weren't many options, if any. We decided to get trailers and to move back to our property. This is home. They were all born on this ranch. They have no concept of living anywhere else. All of their friends are here. This is their normal. You know, you're not going to rebuild in a few weeks or even a few months. I think that was pretty obvious at the beginning, that it wasn't going to be a real quick process.
Just by myself.
What'd you get? You got 100% on the math test.
You always do.
Well, see, yeah, but...
It was easy because it was dividing fractions and decimals.
Dude, go help your brother with his damn homework there.
Ask your mom how to divide a fraction.
It is always difficult to be away from my family when I'm gone on fires. I try and stay in touch with them as much as possible, and that helps. Having just lost our house in the Carr Fire, it was a little bit more difficult. I knew that my family was going through some real struggles. When there's nowhere else to run, is there room for one more son? But they understood why I was out on the fires, and I talked to them every day over the phone. So yeah, it was harder, but it was doable.
It's a lot more difficult than I expected. I mean, we are basically, if you want to call it, RV living, you know, so that's a little bit different. Just the space is so confined.
For me, the hardest part about coming back to the property and trying to restart our lives is that everybody copes in their own way, and not all emotions mix well with each other. Somebody who gets angry can't really cope with somebody that gets sad, and so we have a lot of clashing emotions. What I can say is that we're still a family. No matter how frustrating it can get, we still have each other to get through this. I mean, you look up there and they're just sticks. It's something. You know, you look up there and you remember that there were trees there. When you start just dropping all the trees and emptying it, it doesn't feel like home anymore.
It's home. It'll always be home. So that's the emotional anchor that you need. But the devastation is overwhelming. The beauty is gone. I mean, it's still beautiful, but all our trees are gone. The landscape doesn't look the same. Your constant reminder every minute you walk outside and look, you're constantly reminded of complete and utter total loss. You know, but that's not going to change if we choose to rebuild, which we do. That's not going to change. So maybe it's better being here every day and starting to get more used to it. I'll be honest, it's close to impossible not to literally throw up, because you're so emotionally overwhelmed that even tears, I thought, okay, I'm going to cry it out the first couple of days. That didn't even work in the first couple of months. I cried every single day, all day, off and on. Now I cry maybe once a day. I'm better.
Rebuilding is definitely going to take longer than I thought and longer than I had hoped for. In a perfect world, we would have started building the very next day, but due to permits and so many people needing to submit those permits, we just kind of have to wait it out and do what we have to do until we can rebuild. Meat hooks, face masks. Yeah. A lot of this stuff's stuff I told you my great-grandpa made. A clock.
I don't know where it is.
Yeah, you do.
Put it in the house.
The building process extremely overwhelming for me. I'm dealing with all the paperwork. I'm the one doing all of the insurance paperwork and trying to figure everything out. But the problem is with the county, I don't feel like they're facilitating any help to help people move quickly through the process. I know they're inundated. I know they're just overwhelmed with so many different things going on all the permits that are needed and everything. But it seems to me like they could at least give people some kind of guideline.
Grandma wants to know how long until the
It's
little...
way harder than Sam.
No, Sam is way
Yeah.
hotter. You didn't grow up with Santa Cruz with the surfers.
Dawes is a cast girl. She don't want me.
I think I struggle immensely with moving forward. I want to move forward, I want to go quickly, and then I find myself backpedaling a little bit because I'm like, I don't want to face it. I don't want to face how different everything is going to be. But then I have to remember everything is different right now.
Jeanette, Jackson,
But you're not allowed to
Jonathan,
see.
and Jocelyn.
Me being gone all the time has affected our recovery, just in the sense that I can't be here emotionally all the time for my family, especially my nieces and nephews, who I'm very close with. They don't get to see me all the time when they're not in school, spending as much time at home as possible to help them through it. For me personally, the firefighting is my way of coping. It helps me forget about my loss. There's definitely times when I'm fighting fire that I see other people that have it much worse than we do, so I count my blessings, give credit where credit is due.
I think I have my dream where, everybody's gonna be so happy. We're in a home again, and look, it's all like it used to be. And the reality is it never will. It'll never be the same. We'll make new memories. We'll have a new living space. I think what I mean by home is this property. This property is home to us, In my dream, we rebuild pretty quickly and we're all settling back in and we can put the Carr Fire trauma behind us. As long as we're still in trailers and still looking at emptiness, we're in the middle of it. It's still going to be hard when we rebuild and have the house at another house again. We still see the damage to the forest, it's all burnt and gone. But at least then we could start feeling like we're finding a new normal, because normal will never be what it was before.